My name is Keevin, and welcome to my poker vlog channel. This is where I'll be sharing my poker sessions as well as some of my music. Here, with the help of caffeine, I am preparing to edit my first session, which is what you'll be watching shortly. And this is my workstation. My first session is a very short one at Grand Villa where I play some 2-5 cash. For my first interesting hand, I pick up Jack-8 of diamonds at the cutoff. The middle position raises to $15 and it folds to me and I call. The small blind and big blind also call. The flop comes 6 of spades, ace of diamonds, and king of diamonds. It goes check, check, and the middle position c-bets for $25. I call with a flush draw, and everyone else also calls. The turn card comes the 7 of diamonds. Everyone checks to me, and at this point it's quite obvious that everyone is afraid of the most obvious flush draw that got there, which is the one I hit. So I decide to bet pretty small, giving a good price to whoever's holding an ace to continue. So I bet $50. The small blind calls and everyone else folds. Now I pretty much narrowed down his holding to either an ace or a big diamond like the queen of diamonds or 10 of diamonds. The river card comes the queen of diamonds, which gives me the nut flush. Now I'm actually not happy at all to see that card because it's just going to stop the action. I'll never get paid off by just an ace now. However, he decides to lead out for $100. I think for just a little while how to get the max value here with the nuts, and I opt to min raise to hopefully get a side call. The villain is not happy at all and tanks for a little while before making the call. He shows the ace of hearts and the 10 of diamonds, so that last river card kind of coolered him. For the next hand, I pick up 10 jack of clubs, again at the cutoff. The middle position and hijack limps. I opt to limp this hand and the blinds come in, so it's 5-handed heading into the flop. The flop comes 9 queen 6 with 1 club. It checks to the middle position, who makes a small bet of $15. The hijack folds and I call with an open-ender and potential backdoor flush. Everyone else folds. The turn comes a 5, and the villain makes another small bet, this time for $20. I think for a little bit, knowing I'm going to at least make a call here. But if I just call and miss my draw, I don't think a river bluff will be very convincing. If we get there and he has some showdown value with his hand, he can easily bluff catch. So to tell a more convincing story, I need to raise right now, and I opt to raise it up to $100. This would put any one pair type hand in a very tough position. My plan is to bet big whether or not I hit the river, but I'll gladly take the pot down right now. The villain thinks a little bit and lets it go. This hand, I'm in the big blind with king queen of hearts. Under the gun raises to $15. Everyone folds to me. Normally, if the raise had come from a later position, I would 3-bet this hand, but this player was someone I did not recognize. Combined with the fact that she raised under the gun, I put her range towards a stronger side, and I just call to see the flop. The flop comes 6 king 10 rainbow, giving me top pair. I check cautiously because I do think that ace king is still a possible holding for her. She bets $15, which is around half pot. There's no need for me to check raise here with just top pair, but I'm also not going anywhere yet, so I call. The turn comes a 9 and I check again. This time she checks as well. At the moment I'm pretty sure I have the best hand. The river comes a 7. It's not a great card, putting a 4-liner to a straight on the board. It's not that I would ever put it on an 8, but me holding an 8 is actually more likely here, so it's very unlikely for her to call any more bets with a worse hand. I think for a while and decide that I might still be able to get some value with a small bet from pocket jacks or pocket queens. I bet $25. She calls, I show my hand, and she mucks. This hand I am in the small blind with Ace-4 offsuit. The hijack opens for $15 and the button calls. Here I am in the perfect spot to squeeze with an ace blocker. Also, at this point, I had shown down a couple strong hands, so I know I'm going for it. I'm only thinking about my 3-bet sizing. I decide to make an overbet raise to $75 because this is pretty much only a pre-flop play. If I get called and I'm just going to be in a tough spot with ace rag out of position, but we don't have to worry about that because everyone folds. This hand I am in the big blind with ace-king of diamonds. Everyone folds to the button who raises to $15. The small blind folds. And this is usually a 3-bet spot for me, especially with a hand as strong as the one I have. However, I had just 3-bet bluffed not too long ago, and also I closed the action here. So if there was ever a time to be a bit sneaky with a premium hand just to mix it up a little bit, this would be it. I call and immediately regret it as the flop comes 8-6-5 with 2 diamonds. But since I already played it the way I have, I check to the villain with the intention of check raising. Unfortunately, he checks back. The turn card is the 5 of diamonds, which gives me the nut flush. The only hand that beats me now is a full house or quads, which is a possibility with the paired board out there, but I don't think it's very likely, as any hand he had that would have made a full house would likely have bet the flop. So all I can really do now is bet for value with the remaining streets. I decide to lead out for $25 and he calls. The river is a jack, which is essentially a brick. I lead out again for around a pot-sized bet of $75. It doesn't look like he has much because he just folds. After being card dead for a while, I pick up pocket queens on the button. Under the gun raises to $20 and there are 2 callers before the action gets to me. This is a pretty straightforward 3-bet spot and I decide to make it $100. It folds back to the under the gun player and he 4-bets to $320. Everyone folds and the action comes back to me. I think for quite a while here. I do have position, so calling is not too bad when we are both deep. However, this villain is a regular, and we actually have quite a bit of hand history against each other. Most of that comes from a 5-10-20 shorthanded game that we would play late night weekends. So we've played in big pots before, and we've also shown each other bluffs. He could be thinking I'm just squeezing here on the button. I contemplate a 5-bet, but if he jams, I could just be dominated but priced in. In the end, I pick up a live tell from him and also come to the conclusion that he wouldn't put himself in a tough spot out of position against me at this table. That is if he didn't have an absolute premium hand. So I decide to let it go this time. I don't know if I'm right, but hopefully he'll remember this hand the next time I play with him so I can ask him. For the next couple interesting hands, I was unable to capture them on video, so we will be switching to this hand replay review. I am in the big blind with King Jack of Diamonds. It starts with a button straddle of $10. The small blind folds and I just complete for another $5. The middle position opens to $30. It folds to the button who calls and I also call. The flop comes Queen Queen 3 rainbow. I check, the middle position checks, and the button also checks. The turn card is 8 of spades, which brings in a backdoor flush draw. Now I'm thinking, my particular hand actually blocks a lot of Queen X holdings, and given that the original raiser did not c-bet and the button let it check through, I think that this is a good spot for me to take a stab, because if there was anyone trapping with a queen, it would most likely be me. I bet around half pot and make it $50. The middle position calls and the button folds. The river card comes a brick. Now, I just think for a while that what the middle position could have called with. My plan is to continue to barrel and rep a queen. My hand unblocks all spades, so he could have called the turn, picking up a flush draw, which would be the best case scenario because I think he would fold to any size bet. I do want to make it a size that would at the same time seem like I'm trying to get value with a queen, but also fold off hands that have questionable showdown value like small pocket pairs or ace high. I make it $100. The villain shakes his head and sighs, but calls pretty quickly. He shows pocket aces, and I just say, nice hand. This hand, I am under the gun with pocket tens and open to $15. Everyone folds to the small blind, who 3-bets to $60. Now, this villain had 3-bet pre-flop in the blinds a couple times already, but I never had the chance to see his cards at showdown. He seemed pretty young and comfortable at shuffling chips, so I just read him as a pretty solid player. The big blind folds, and I call. The flop comes 8-9 queen with 2 hearts. The villain c-bets for $70. I just call with a gut shot and second pair, which is quite possibly the best hand. The turn is a 2 of diamonds, which brings 2 flush draws to the board. The villain leads out again for $125. So at this point, I'm just thinking if I need to turn my hand into a bluff, because I do have the perfect hand to do that, blocking 10-jack, which is the nuts. I quickly run through his possible holdings. He's probably not going to fold any sets, but if he has any one-pair hand that beats mine, like ace, queen, kings, or aces, I think a raise here would be able to get him to fold. And if he has a draw, like 2 overs and a flush draw, a raise here would also charge him more. So I decide to raise it up to $400. He thinks for a little while, and then folds. Here are the results of my first session. I played for exactly 2 hours. I bought in for $1,500 and cashed out for $1,707. So that's a profit of $207. And I'll display my results somewhere around here. So that was a very short session, and I knew that going in. This is my first session filming. There's still a lot that I'm trying to figure out. I just want to say thank you for watching this first episode. I really hope that you guys enjoyed what you just saw. All of the music that I will be featuring in this channel will be original songs written and produced by yours truly. So if you like what you heard, there will be links in the description to where you can stream and listen to more of my works. I also wanted to explain the format of this channel. I've decided that for every episode/session, I will be uploading 2 different versions. One is the one you're watching now, which is the English version. I will also have a Cantonese version, or maybe I'm going to separate the channels. I'm not sure how to do this yet. But yeah, Cantonese is a language that I have a lot of passion and love for, and I just hope to create more Canto content whenever I can. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys keep tuning in for future episodes, and goodbye.